What if the secret to surviving your darkest days isn't waiting for happiness, but choosing it even when it feels impossible? Force yourself to be happy even when life is hard challenges everything you believe about emotions and resilience. In just a few moments, I'll tell you how to force yourself to be happy even when life feels unbearable. 1. Choose happiness even when it hurts. You are born into a world that makes no promises of ease, no assurances of comfort. From your first breath, life is marked not by guarantees, but by the quiet certainty that storms will come. You grow up watching people stumble through sorrow, bracing yourself for the inevitable winds that shake even the steadiest foundations. Yet there is one truth that often goes unspoken, one lesson rarely taught. Happiness is not given. It is not handed to you like a gift, wrapped in ribbons, waiting to be opened. It is built, forged like steel in the fire of your daily choices. Each morning presents you with a decision. Before your feet touch the ground, there are two invisible paths stretching out before you. One is worn and easy, its stones smoothed by the many who have walked it in bitterness and complaint. It asks nothing of you except to surrender to the weight of your burdens. The other is steeper, carved with difficulty, but it is the only road that leads upward. It demands more. It requires you to create joy when none is offered. It tells you to smile with salt still on your cheeks, to keep walking even when your knees buckle. And though it costs more, it gives back something greater, the ability to shape your inner world even when the outer one crumbles. Why do so many choose sorrow? Not because they are weak, but because they believe the myth that happiness must first be felt before it can be real. But feelings lie. They shift with the winds of circumstance and memory, clouding your vision and convincing you that joy is something passive, something you wait for. The truth is sharper and more liberating. Happiness is a decision. It is an act of will, a command, spoken not to the world, but to yourself. When you stop waiting for it to arrive and start creating it from within, everything changes. This transformation begins in the smallest of acts. You rise and whisper gratitude into the silence, even if your heart isn't convinced. You step forward with intention, though your body feels heavy with yesterday's disappointments. You smile at strangers when all you want is to disappear. In time, these actions reshape the soul. Like water carving rock, they slowly wear away despair. The man who laughs by choice, even when it feels forced, may one day find that the laughter is real. Picture your happiness as a fragile flame flickering in a snowstorm. No one is coming with extra firewood. There is no rescue, no magic spark waiting in the distance. You have what you have, and it must be enough. So you kneel, cold and trembling, and breathe on the embers. You search the barren ground for twigs. You keep feeding that fire with every shred of will you have left. And when it begins to burn steadily, it is not because the world grew kinder, but because you refused to let the cold define you. What if you simply decided to be happy? Not blindly, not naively, but with full knowledge of your pain. What if you woke up and chose to see beauty instead of lack, to speak hope instead of fear? The world reflects back what you insist on seeing. Let others lower their eyes and wait for life to earn their joy. You will lift your head and create joy in the ruins. You will light a candle not to banish all darkness, but to declare, I am still here, I still believe. That is what happiness truly is. Not comfort, not ease, but rebellion. A rebellion against despair, a refusal to let life steal your light. So rise, plant your feet, take a breath that says, I will not be undone. Joy is not a gift you wait for. It is a weapon you wield, and you will use it. 2. Refuse to be broken. You stumble, you fall, and life, in its cruelest moments, seems determined to shatter you. But still you breathe, you exist. Maybe you're not running, maybe you're crawling, but you're moving, you're here, and that simple truth holds within it a power greater than you often realize. You have not given up. Wounded, yes. Scarred, absolutely, but unbroken. And that, more than anything, defines your strength. Because the world did its worst, and you remained. What separates those who rise from those who fall and stayed down? It isn't fate. It isn't chance. It's the will to decide. When a man is brought to his knees 10 times but rises 11, he hasn't merely survived, he's triumphed. Pain will always find you. It arrives uninvited with no courtesy or warning, but you have the choice to meet it not as a victim, but as a challenger. You may not avoid its arrival, but you can absolutely dictate its influence. Resilience isn't born in peace, it's forged in chaos. You do not grow stronger when life is easy. You grow when life is hard. When you are bent by burden, twisted by circumstance, and still you rise. The strength you admire in others was not inherited, it was earned. Each trial a hammer, each setback a blow, each heartbreak a crucible, and through it all your spirit is refined. When life sends its storm, don't flinch. Square your shoulders. Meet it eye to eye. Say, "This will shape me." You are the tree, battered by wind, lashed by storm, and buried in snow. But the storm has a secret. It is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every gust of wind drives your roots deeper. Every blizzard thickens your bark. If the world had been gentle, you would be frail. If life had only offered ease, you would still be shallow. But you are not. You are strong because you have endured. Close your eyes. Remember your lowest moment. That time when everything collapsed. When you were sure you couldn't make it through. But you did. You're here. Not because the world was kind, but because you were fierce. You didn't escape the pain. You stood through it. That choice, to rise despite it all, that's your legacy. That moment is yours. No one gave it to you. No one can take it from you. Think of what you've endured. Reflect on the nights you didn't sleep, the tears you didn't show, the wounds you carried silently. And yet, you kept going. That's not weakness. That's the mark of someone forged in fire. Someone who refused to stay broken. Resilience isn't about silence or suppression. It isn't suffering in stillness. It is movement. It is defiance. It is rebuilding in the shadow of destruction. Don't hide your pain. Wear it. Let it be a banner that tells the world, "I am still here," and people will watch. They'll wonder how you continue. They'll call it fate or fortune, but deep down, you'll know. It was none of those things. It was choice, your choice, to rise, to fight, to become more than what tried to break you. You chose to be stronger than the storm. You chose to become greater than what sought to destroy you. And because of that, you walk not as a victim of your story, but as its author. 3, build a definite purpose. You are not here to drift, you are here to drive. Life is not a current you float along, it is an ocean to be crossed, a horizon to be reached, a destination you must choose with intention. Without direction, you become like a rudderless ship, at the mercy of tides and tempests, pushed wherever the world decides. But with purpose, your life gains power. Your actions take shape. Your momentum becomes unstoppable. You move with clarity, endure with reason, and rise with unshakable force. So many lose themselves not to failure, but to indecision. They wander not because they're incapable, but because they never ask themselves what they truly wanted. And if you don't choose your path, the world will choose it for you. One day melts into the next, weeks blur into years, and suddenly you're far from the life you imagined, wondering how you got there. Drift long enough and you forget you ever had a destination. You must decide. You must fix your eyes on a purpose so vivid, so fierce, that it commands your attention and repels all distraction. It should burn in your thoughts like fire. Write it, speak it, live it. Let it thread itself through every action you take. Purpose is your compass, your fuel, your shield. When the days grow heavy, it lifts you. When others doubt, it steadies you. When you falter, it calls you back. Every task, no matter how small or tedious, becomes sacred when it moves you closer to your goal. Even if you are shoveling coal or painting fences, do it with intention. That effort is not wasted. That sweat is not meaningless. Each action, each motion, each choice builds towards something greater. Like a mason laying stone, you may see only dust and rubble, but in your mind the cathedral rises. Others may scoff. They won't see the blueprint in your mind. They won't understand why you wake early, why you sacrifice comfort, why you grind through pain. But you do. You see what they can't. You know what you are building, and that knowledge makes the labor a privilege. Ask yourself truly, what do I wake up for? What vision pulls me forward like gravity? If the answer isn't clear, you must find it now. You cannot afford to spend another day wandering without a star to follow. Decide what you will build, what you will contribute, what legacy you will carve into the world, because if you don't, the days will still pass. But they will pass hollow, disconnected, and wasted. But remember, purpose is not a wish whispered into the dark. It is not a dream you wait to come true. Purpose is forged. It is shaped by action, hardened by sacrifice, made real through relentless consistency. No one delivers it to you. You create it. You chisel it out of the raw stone of your life. Every swing of the hammer, a choice to live with meaning. While others hesitate, you must step. While others sleep, you must labor. And while others surrender to doubt, you will persist. Not because it is easy, but because your aim is locked, your will is engaged, and your path is chosen. Purpose doesn't make life simple, but it makes it worthwhile. It shields you from distractions, makes your suffering bearable, and gives you the strength to push through storms. With purpose, you don't just survive. You create, you influence, you conquer. You are not a leaf scattered by the wind. You are the wind itself. So move, not in circles, not in reaction, but forward, always forward. 4. Guard your mind like a fortress. You are not a victim of every thought that enters your head. You are its gatekeeper. You are the sentinel at the threshold of your mind, and every idea, every emotion, every memory that seeks entry must pass through you. You decide what stays, what feeds your soul, and what festers in the dark. Your mind can be your fiercest ally or your most cunning saboteur. And the difference between the two lies in how closely you guard its doors. Most people let their thoughts run wild, like weeds in an abandoned garden, but not you. You will cultivate with intention. You will prune with purpose. Why do so many live in prison by fear and doubt? It isn't weakness. It isn't fate. It is permission. They let outside voices set up residence in their heads, uninvited and unchecked. A harsh word from a stranger, a childhood criticism, the sting of failure. These echoes continue not because they are true, but because they were never silenced. And when you do not confront them, they begin to speak louder than your own voice. That is why your mind must be defended like a kingdom. You are the soldier. You are the sovereign. And only you can decide which voices deserve your attention. This isn't a battle won in a day. You must train your focus like a muscle. Begin each morning as if you are sharpening a blade. Choose your thoughts before they choose you. Speak words of strength, even if your heart feels heavy. When the weight of yesterday tries to climb onto today's back, shake it off. Replace it with truth. Speak life over your own mind. Say, I am not my failures. I am not my fears. I am what I choose to believe. When a seed of doubt shows up, don't water it. Don't entertain its lies. Ask it, who sent you? What purpose do you serve? When fear whispers that you aren't enough, challenge it like a warrior staring down a false prophet. Your mind is a battlefield, but your weapon is choice. And your armor is awareness. Picture walking through a crowded marketplace. Every vendor is calling out, vying for your attention. One shouts fear, another offers shame. One waves a banner of anger, another tempts with distraction. If you stop at every stall, you never reach your destination. If you listen to every voice, you forget your own. That marketplace is the world, and your focus, that is the straight road ahead. You must keep your eyes fixed on your purpose, pressing forward with clarity, leaving behind the noise. Now consider this. If each thought was a guest in your home, who would you let in? Would you let envy sit at your dinner table? Would you give doubt a bed to sleep in? Would you offer a drink to regret and let it speak all night? Of course not. So why do you entertain these things in the sacred space of your mind? Your thoughts shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your actions. Protect your space. There will be days when your mind feels like a storm, when thoughts race like lightning and emotions swell like thunder. On those days, do not retreat. Stand in the middle of the storm and speak clarity aloud. Go for a walk. Touch the earth. Breathe deeply. Say to yourself, I am not this chaos. I am not lost. I am building, I am growing, I am becoming who I am meant to be. The world outside is relentless and loud, but your inner world does not have to mirror it. You can create stillness. You can create order. You can train your mind to become a sanctuary. But this doesn't happen by accident. It happens by practice, by daily rituals, by choosing your thoughts the way a craftsman selects his tools, with purpose, with discipline, with care. You do not need every thought. You do not need every voice. You need the right ones. And when your mind is strong, no storm can break you. No lie can lead you. No fear can bind you. Because you are not a captive of your thoughts. You are their master, and you decide what stays. 5. Replace excuses with results. You are not a victim of every thought that enters your head. You are its gatekeeper. You are the sentinel at the threshold of your mind, and every idea, every emotion, every memory that seeks entry must pass through you. You decide what stays, what feeds your soul, and what festers in the dark. Your mind can be your fiercest ally or your most cunning saboteur. And the difference between the two lies in how closely you guard its door. Most people let their thoughts run wild, like weeds in an abandoned garden. But not you. You will cultivate with intention. You will prune with purpose. Why do so many live imprisoned by fear and doubt? It isn't weakness. It isn't fate. It is permission. They let outside voices set up residence in their heads, uninvited and unchecked. A harsh word from a stranger, a childhood criticism, the sting of failure. These echoes continue not because they are true, but because they were never silenced. And when you do not confront them, they begin to speak louder than your own voice. That is why your mind must be defended like a kingdom. You are the soldier, you are the sovereign, and only you can decide which voices deserve your attention. This isn't a battle won in a day. You must train your focus like a muscle. Begin each morning as if you are sharpening a blade. Choose your thoughts before they choose you. Speak words of strength even if your heart feels heavy. When the weight of yesterday tries to climb onto today's back, shake it off. Replace it with truth. Speak life over your own mind. Say, I am not my failures. I am not my fears. I am what I choose to believe. When a seed of doubt shows up, don't water it. Don't entertain its lies. Ask it, who sent you? What purpose do you serve? When fear whispers that you aren't enough, challenge it like a warrior staring down a false prophet. Your mind is a battlefield, but your weapon is choice, and your armor is awareness. Picture walking through a crowded marketplace. Every vendor is calling out, vying for your attention. One shouts fear, another offers shame. One waves a banner of anger, another tempts with distraction. If you stop at every stall, you never reach your destination. If you listen to every voice, you forget your own. That marketplace is the world, and your focus, that is the straight road ahead. You must keep your eyes fixed on your purpose, pressing forward with clarity, leaving behind the noise. Now consider this. If each thought was a guest in your home, who would you let in? Would you let envy sit at your dinner table? Would you give doubt a bed to sleep in? Would you offer a drink to regret and let it speak all night? Of course not. So why do you entertain these things in the sacred space of your mind? Your thoughts shape your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your actions. Protect your space. There will be days when your mind feels like a storm, when thoughts race like lightning and emotions swell like thunder. On those days, do not retreat. Stand in the middle of the storm and speak clarity aloud. Go for a walk, touch the earth, breathe deeply. Say to yourself, I am not this chaos. I am not lost. I am building. I am growing. I am becoming who I am meant to be. The world outside is relentless and loud, but your inner world does not have to mirror it. You can create stillness. You can create order. You can train your mind to become a sanctuary. But this doesn't happen by accident. It happens by practice, by daily rituals, by choosing your thoughts the way a craftsman selects his tools, with purpose, with discipline, with care. You do not need every thought. You do not need every voice. You need the right ones. And when your mind is strong, no storm can break you, no lie can lead you, no fear can bind you, because you are not a captive of your thoughts. You are their master, and you decide what stays. 6. Discipline is the master key. You are not waiting for motivation. You are building discipline. Motivation is the spark, brief, unpredictable, and fleeting. It arrives with noise but disappears in silence. Discipline, on the other hand, is the furnace. It burns when the spark is gone. It endures the cold mornings, the long nights, the aching muscles, and the weary mind. Discipline does not wait to feel inspired. It acts, regardless. And that is where greatness is forged. The disciplined man understands a truth that many refuse to face. You will not always want to do the work. The fire of passion, while beautiful, is unreliable. It flares bright, then dims without warning. But discipline does not rely on feeling. It is a contract with yourself, a commitment made not once but renewed daily. It is what remains when excitement is gone. When others falter, distracted or discouraged, the disciplined keep moving forward. So why do so many give up halfway? Because they expect their dreams to be fueled by passion alone. They believe progress should feel good, but real progress, lasting progress, often feels uncomfortable. It is waking up before the sun. It is doing one more rep when your body says no. It is sitting down to work when every part of you wants rest. Discipline demands that you act, even when nothing in you wants to. And every time you obey it, you build strength, you build evidence, you become someone who can be trusted by his own word. Discipline is a muscle. It grows with resistance. You train it not in ease, but in friction. You train it by choosing discomfort, by rising when you'd rather sleep, by speaking truth when silence would be simpler, by acting with intent when laziness tempts you. Each time you choose the harder path, you reinforce the architecture of your will. Discipline is not punishment, it is liberation. from weakness, from chaos, from regret. Picture a man building a bridge by hand. He works alone, day after day, stone after stone. To the outside world, he seems foolish. Why not wait for someone else to build it? Why not rest and enjoy the shoreline? But the man has a vision. He sees the far side. He knows that one day his bridge will carry him to a life few ever reach. He works not for applause, but for arrival. Every stone matters. Every step taken in faith is a step closer to freedom. What if you made discipline your closest companion? What would your life look like if you stopped waiting to feel ready and started acting because it mattered? If every action was chosen with purpose, not convenience, would you still delay? Would you still bargain with your goals, postpone your progress, negotiate with your dreams? Or would you begin right now? Many will say, I just don't have the willpower. But willpower isn't something you find, it's something you build. Start small. Make a promise to yourself and keep it. Get up when your alarm rings. Finish the task you started. Put in 5 more minutes of effort. And once you keep one promise, make another. Stack them day after day until your entire identity changes. You will no longer be someone who hopes, you will be someone who acts. And there is nothing more powerful than a man who does what he says he will do. Discipline is not loud. It does not crave validation. It moves in silence, works without praise, and persists without recognition. It is the foundation beneath all greatness. The disciplined do not need ideal conditions. They do not need to feel perfect. They simply begin and they keep going. When you master discipline, you stop waiting for the world to hand you opportunity. You create your own. You stop chasing comfort. You chase purpose. Discipline turns intention into reality. It is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. So act without excuse, without delay. And when doubt comes, and it will, meet it not with emotion, but with discipline. Move forward, one stone at a time, because the bridge you build today is the path you will walk tomorrow. 7. Your struggle has value. You walk through hard seasons and ask, why this? Why now? The road grows heavy, the nights feel endless, and every step forward seems to demand more than you have. But consider this. What if the struggle you face is not punishment, but preparation? What if these challenges are not obstacles in your path, but instruments shaping you into who you are meant to become? The soil must be broken before it can receive seed. The ground must be disturbed before it can produce growth. And you are being cultivated. Too often we mistake hardship for abandonment, as though difficulty is proof that we are alone or unworthy. But the truth is far deeper. Those who rise strongest often come from the hardest ground. Why do the strong speak of past pain with pride? Because they understand what it gave them. Pain became their mentor. Adversity became their training ground. Endurance, wisdom, resilience, these were born not in peace but in pressure. And they know pain is not meaningless unless you let it be. It is a tool. It can sharpen you, stretch you, elevate you. To use it, you must first accept it. This does not mean you must love pain or seek it out, but you must be willing to face it with eyes wide open. Every trial you endure holds a lesson. Ask, what is this moment building in me? Is it patience forged in delay? Is it strength grown in resistance? Is it clarity revealed in confusion? Most people resist hardship, flinch at discomfort, and retreat at the first sign of difficulty. But not you. You must lean into it. Make it serve you. Make it yours. Picture a blacksmith at his forge. The iron is placed in fire, then struck again and again. Not to be broken, but to be shaped. The fire softens. The hammer molds. This is not destruction, it is creation. The metal does not become useful until it has been through flame and force. That hammer is life. And every blow, each one is forming you. Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of survival. Each mark on your soul is proof you are still here. Still standing, still becoming. And what if every moment you wanted to quit was the moment right before the breakthrough? What if your current pressure is the very force pressing you into the mold of your potential? The universe rarely grants growth without asking something in return. Often the cost is perseverance, grit, faith when none seems justified. What you feel now, the weight, the pressure, the resistance, this is not meant to crush you. It is meant to transform you, to chisel away what is weak and reveal what is strong. But here is the warning. Do not grow bitter. Bitterness is the rot that ruins the harvest. Struggle is a gift if you choose to see it that way. It exposes what cannot stand and strengthens what endures. It clarifies your values. It reveals your true priorities. Let others curse their hardship, wallow in self-pity, shrink beneath the weight. You will harvest from your difficulty. You will rise with hands calloused by effort and eyes sharpened by truth. There is no shame in the fire. The only shame is in refusing to walk through it. The fire is where you shed what no longer serves you. It burns away the shallow, the ego, the illusion. What remains is real. What survives is true. Embrace the value of your struggle. Carry it not as a burden, but as a badge. Let it remind you what you are capable of withstanding. One day you will stand taller, and someone will ask you how you made it through. They will see your strength and assume it was gifted, but you will know. You will say, I walked through the storm. I was struck, bent, tested, but never broken. And with every blow, I built myself. That is your story. That is your power. The struggle was never there to stop you. It was there to reveal you. So step forward, one foot in front of the other, not in fear, but in purpose. You are not lost in the storm. You are being shaped by it. 8. Hold fast to your vision. You carry an image in your mind, a future not yet built, a self not yet revealed. That vision is sacred. It lives deep within you, guiding your steps, shaping your choices, whispering to you even when no one else believes. It is the compass that points you forward when the road is long and unkind. When the nights stretch endlessly and the doubt creeps in, it is your vision that reminds you why you started. Without it, you drift like a ship with no stars to follow. With it, you endure storms that would sink others. You press on not because the path is easy, but because you know where it leads. Why do so many abandon their dreams? Why do they let go of the very thing that once set their soul on fire? It isn't because they lack talent or even opportunity. It is because they forget what they saw. They lose sight of the image. They allow the noise of the world, the criticism, the expectations, the fear to drown out the quiet whisper of their own calling. They trade their vision for comfort, for approval, for distraction. But you must not. You must hold fast to what you saw. You do this not by chance, but by discipline. You must see your vision clearly every single day. Speak of it until the words become breath. Write it down until the ink stains your soul. Feel it until it is more real to you than your current pain. Your vision must be so strong, so vivid, that it becomes your reality long before it arrives. When you are tired, you will look to it. When you are doubted, you will lean on it. And when the world gives you every reason to stop, it will pull you forward like gravity, anchoring you to your purpose. Picture a man building a monument in his mind before he ever lifts a stone. Others pass by and scoff, unable to understand why he labors in an empty field. There is nothing there but dirt, sweat, and silence. But the man sees something they do not. He sees the archways and towers, the beauty and the power. He works not for applause, but for completion. Not for recognition, but for the fulfillment of what already exists inside him. He lays each brick in solitude, because the vision he carries is already more real to him than the dust beneath his feet. What picture are you building in your mind? What future have you painted on the canvas of your imagination? And more importantly, are your actions each day honoring that vision or betraying it? Every step you take is either moving you closer to that image or dragging you further from it. Discipline is not only about doing the hard things. It is about protecting your dream from erosion. It is about living in alignment with the future you claim to desire. But be warned, vision without action is a dream, and dreams without work are ghosts. They haunt the minds of those who once believed and now regret. Your vision must be fed with effort, with sacrifice, with relentless consistency. You must become the kind of person who deserves the future you imagine. You must act, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. That's when it counts most. The moments you want to quit are the moments your future is watching. Let others forget why they began. Let them chase noise, chase comfort, chase trends. But you will remember. You will rise with purpose and go to sleep with resolve. You will hold your vision like treasure, not because it is fragile, but because it is priceless. Guard it from the opinions of others. Guard it from your own laziness. Guard it from distraction, from comfort, from doubt, and one day, if you do not give in, if you continue to build, to believe, to act, that vision will no longer live only in your mind. It will take form. It will rise from the earth, shaped by your hands, fueled by your persistence. And those who once doubted will stand in its shadow and ask, how did you do it? And you will say, I saw it before it ever existed. I believed before anyone else did. I built what I could see. 9. Strengthen the will daily. You are not born with a strong will. No one emerges from the womb forged in discipline or resilience. Willpower is not a gift, it is a craft. It is built day by day, choice by choice, shaped not by moments of ease, but by moments of decision. Every time you choose what is right over what is easy, you feed the will. Every time you keep your word, when no one would know if you didn't, you forge it stronger. This is how the will grows, not in comfort, but in resistance. Like a muscle, it strengthens through stress, through strain, through the constant testing of your limits. So why do so many lack endurance? Why do they crumble under the weight of pressure? It is because they have never tested themselves. They have never pushed when the body was tired, when the mind screamed for rest, when the heart hung heavy with doubt. They wait for the moment to feel right. They wait for ease before they act. But ease never comes. If you wait for conditions to be perfect, you will wait forever. If you only move when it feels good, you will never move far. Willpower is built through practice. It begins in the small things. Rise when the alarm rings. Do the work when motivation is absent. Finish what you start, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Refuse to quit simply because the thrill has faded. The man who continues in silence, who presses forward without applause, without reward, he is the one who becomes unstoppable. Because his actions are not tied to external praise, they are tied to his internal promise. Picture yourself walking through a storm. The wind howls against your face, rain lashes your skin, mud pulls at your feet, and still you move forward. You do not wait for the storm to pass. You do not beg the sky for peace. You walk on, head high, steps firm, because your will has spoken. We do not stop. That is the essence of willpower. It is not loud, it does not scream, it does not boast, it walks. Quietly, unflinchingly, forward. Ask yourself, what habits are you practicing? What choices do you make when no one is watching? Because that is where the will is forged, not in the spotlight, but in solitude, not in celebration, but in struggle. The real work of becoming strong is often invisible. It happens when the bed is warm, but you rise anyway. When the path is steep, but you climb. When you feel like quitting, but take one more step. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments that build the man you will become. But know this, your will is not built overnight. It is not born in a single moment of inspiration. It is tested often and strengthened slowly. There will be days when you falter, when you choose the easy way. That does not mean you are weak, it means you are human. But each time you return, each time you rise again and choose the hard thing because it is right, your will grows. The setbacks become sparks. The failures become fuel. Will is not about force. It is not about grinding yourself into exhaustion or screaming louder than the noise. It is about follow through, about doing what you said you would do again and again until your word is more powerful than your doubt. Will is not showy. It is steady. It is not dramatic. It is dependable. And when you master it, you no longer wait for strength to arrive. You become it.